guys, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Georgia L. Knight. Georgia, thank you so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we really do appreciate it. So we think you're awesome, and thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Georgia, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Well, it's a beautiful day in the BB house. It's a beautiful day. Okay, when we left off yesterday, Jess was preparing to make her nominations. She's planning on putting up Jack and Jackson, and she's acting like Jackson is the target. It's actually Jack. She doesn't want Christy or Jack or anyone close to them knowing that Jack is the real target, because she doesn't want Christy to use her whacktivity power and mess everything up, even though Christy promised she wouldn't. But this is Christy we're talking about, so she does what she wants, even though she says one thing. Okay, so anyway, Jessica has chosen to go after Jack over Jackson because he is still part of a solid four. He is very tight with Tommy, Christy, and Cysts. So it makes a lot more sense to keep Jackson around when Jackson and Holly are kind of broken off from that group. Yeah, that group now. And they're gonna be much more willing to work with the outsiders than the other four would be, for sure. So it makes a lot of sense. Also, I think Jack is way more competent in competitions than Jackson. Yeah, I think it's a really good move on her part. So anyway, Nicole and Cliff were chatting in the bathroom area, and they were discussing Nick. I feel like we haven't talked that much about Nick recently, because last week he was playing like really low-key, trying to just get back under that radar. So now they're thinking we need to pull Nick in closer. He's been telling them that he has their backs, which I mean he's been saying to everybody, but they're hoping that he's being honest with them now, because they sure could use him in physical competitions. You know, they're pretty strong in mental stuff. They feel like they got a good group for that, but they need somebody who's going to be good in physical comps. And he's also going to be super important numbers wise, just in case the six get back together. They are kind of worried that like maybe they'll be able to mend fences and get their six back together, which is just like, that would be the worst. But they're a little bit nervous about how close Nick is with Jack. It's like he's always trying to please Jack. He always wants to be good with Jack. Why? Why? So yeah, they want to make sure that there's nothing going on there. They got to be careful with him, because in the past he seemed hell-bent on getting back in with the six. But at the same time, if the majority were to change and it's no longer that group, would he then move to the majority and want to be with that group? I'm thinking probably, right? So anyway, Nicole says that Sis was asking Nick if she has ever dropped Sis's name. And Nicole's like, why is she so obsessed with me? Seriously though, like she is obsessed with Nicole and Cliff. She loves hating on them. So Cliff is like, you know what? I'm so irritated with Sis, because he says he hasn't done anything to her, and she's been so nasty to him. For real though. And Cliff says, Sis has done nothing in this game to deserve anything except sleep with a guy. Ah! Preach! Oh my god, they're like, she's only here because she's sleeping with one of the top guys in the house. So then they're talking about how Sis is always saying that she doesn't want to be there. She's always complaining. She hates everything. We've been hearing this for a while now. So they're pretty tired of Sis and her crap. All right, meanwhile, Jess is doing all of her one-on-one chats in the HOH room. Most of them include people recapping their version of the pre-eviction events. The vote flip that didn't happen, all that good stuff. I mean, it was exciting when it was actually happening, but the endless retells are exhausting. Oh my god. So Jess has also said a similar thing to many people. She's telling people she's very upset that she was being left out of that potential vote flip, because people were calling it like a house decision, and she was left out of it. So is she nothing? Like, is she not part of the house? She's pretty upset about that. So people were apologizing, people that were involved for the most part were apologizing. So Tommy is even whipping up some tears, of course. You know, Tommy's always like so Tommy's like, oh, the whole time I was thinking we should tell you, but it all happened so fast. Come on, man. You guys were not gonna tell her. Jack told her, oh, I didn't want to tell you about it and say it because I was afraid that you would tell Kat, and I wanted to keep it a secret. Jack was not quite as apologetic as Tommy, noticeably so. But another thing that Jess was saying to people, she was like, there was also a 9, an 8, and a 6, and I was left out of all of them. What the hell? Woo! Go Jess! Okay, so anyway, at one point, Tommy was having his one-on-one with Jess, and Sis comes in, and she is crying, so like, come in here, come on in. So they're comforting her, and she's like, oh, it's because I miss home, I'm emotionally drained, I feel bad about Sam leaving. And then she says, everyone in here is so fake, and I hate it. Another line, I'm really confused. I don't know who or what to believe. I mean, that's nothing new, right? The second somebody starts talking game to Sis, she's just like, blah, blah, blah. She's like a fembot in Austin Powers with their heads like start exploding. So anyway, Kat and Holly were chatting in the RV room. So Kat lets Holly know that Jess wants Jack out this week, not Jackson. So she's like, don't tell anybody, not even Jackson. Come on, you know she's gonna tell Jackson, let's be real. But it would really be bad if they went and opened their mouths to everybody, because that's only gonna screw Jackson and Holly over. So I don't think they're gonna be like telling everybody about this. But Holly says, oh, that's a wise decision for Jess's game, for our games, for the whole house. Of course she thinks that. So Kat confirms that Jack and Jackson will be going up against each other. And Kat says, it looks like we're gonna be able to keep Jackson because we only need 4 votes here. So you and me, Cliff, Nicole, that's 4. And then Jess would break the tie and send Jack out. So Kat reveals, if the veto is used, Jess is planning on putting up Sis or Tommy, so they can still make it happen here. So then Kat is saying she doesn't appreciate the way that Sis talked to her leading up to the vote yesterday, because apparently Sis was trying to get some sort of info out of Kat, and she told Kat, you better tell me, because that's gonna determine if I vote for you or not. Damn, that's effed. And Kat says that she would eat Sis in the real world. Ah! Okay, so Kat says that Sis and Jack haven't really gone out of their way to apologize to her about that vote flip that almost happened, how she was almost blindsided. So she's kind of annoyed about that. And she says if she would have won HOH this week, she was planning on putting Jack and Sis up on the block. Oh, damn. So she's going around telling people that she wants Jackson out, but she's not planning on putting him up. Is there a, like, soon in there? Like, I could understand if she doesn't want to take him out right now because they're going for Jack, and, like, Jackson is on her side, but I would love to see Kat take Jackson out at some point. I just think that would be so poetic. But anyway, Jackson has his one-on-one with Jess, and he's telling Jess, do what's best for your game. Even if that means me going up on the block. He's like, I'm proud of you for winning that competition. You earned that win. And Jess is like, okay. You have been the topic of conversation all day. However, you've never been a target of mine. She says it's unfortunate that everything that happened yesterday surrounded him. And then Jackson goes through his explanations about the rogue vote that he pinned on Nicole, the Thursday stuff leading up to the eviction, how Kat and Holly don't know each other, right? And he was also saying Nick is more disrespectful to women than him, and Christy's a hypocrite for saying that he is, and blah, blah, blah. Ugh. So then he's all like, everything that I've done in this game has been to protect the people that I care about, and it hasn't been reciprocated. Cry me a river. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Jess basically lets him know, yes, you are going up. How could I not put you up? But she tells him, you're not my target. I want you to stay. Okay. Meanwhile, Jack and Cysts are talking in the target room. She's still crying. This is after her chat with Jess. So she says, I'm really confused. She doesn't know how to act towards Christy at this point. She doesn't know fact from fiction, and she doesn't know what's going on with Christy. So after her conversation with Jess, she feels like Christy has been throwing Jack under the bus, and Jess kept telling Cysts that she doesn't want the veto to be used. She wants the nominations to stay the same. So Cysts says that makes her feel like Christy will not be using her power. It makes her feel like Christy made some sort of deal that she's not going to use it. So Jack says, yeah, I don't think Christy even trusts me enough anymore to give me the power, like if Jack were to win the veto. So he says, it looks like we're probably gonna lose one of the 6 this week. Cha-ching. So Sis says, that's fine, I don't care if Jackson goes. Okay, so Jack is having some remorse here. He's realizing what he did on Thursday was kind of dumb, kind of really dumb. He feels like he made a bad choice. He says that he should have listened to Jackson and alienated Christy. So I'm not totally sure if he means like just waiting to tell her the Sam info until after Sam was evicted, or if he means just like not work with Christy anymore. I think he means like not tell her the info. But yeah, he's feeling like he made a mistake, and Christy was doing some, you know, shady stuff trying to get with the other side. But he says he was afraid that he was gonna lose Tommy, because Tommy was really adamant that they needed to tell Christy this info ASAP. So he was afraid that if he didn't go ahead and do that, Tommy was gonna be like, deuces. So he says that he still trusts Tommy until the day he dies, and he's encouraging Sis to trust him as well. But Sis doesn't get why Tommy fights so hard for Christy all the time. Doesn't really make sense to her. Put the pieces together. They know each other. Okay, so Jack says this game is hard, and Sis says yes, it is. She says that she signed up for the wrong thing. Love Island. Okay, so Sis says that she wishes she could go to sleep and wake up and be home. Then go! Nobody's keeping you here. And Jack says, me too. You can go too. Go right ahead, both of you. So Jack says, as far as how they're gonna handle Christy, he says he knows what he's gonna do, but he doesn't want to say it out loud. So he says you gotta keep your enemies closer. Is the plan to just do whatever Christy wants? Because that's what it feels like. But he says Christy is not my enemy right now. He is like, he is so stuck on Cliff, and he's like trying to blame everything on Cliff, and he wants Cliff out, and he says he's sick of Cliff's shit. Oh my god. So then the feeds go down for the nomination ceremony. As planned, Jess put up Jack and Jackson. Woo! Okay, so then cue the Tommy tears, those sweet Tommy tears. By the way, I saw last night Nicole was talking about Tommy's crying. I want to say she was talking to Kat, but I can't really remember. I want to say it was Kat. And Nicole said, like, Tommy is not a good actor. Like, he's a good performer with, like, dancing and everything. Not a good actor. Crocodile tears all the way. So she is on to him, which I think is hilarious. Okay, so Christy, Tommy, and Nick were in the target bedroom. And Christy is confident that Jackson will be the one evicted this week, not Jack. So Christy and Tommy even think that if Holly were to win the power veto, she would leave the nominations the same and leave Jackson up there. Oh my God, come on! Really? So Christy says the only way that she would use her power this week is if she were to win the power veto. She doesn't want to give that to anybody else because she doesn't know if she can trust them. I'm sure she would trust Tommy, but like, she's not there right now. So anyway, she says if she were to use the power, she would put up Cliff. Boo! But she doesn't really want to do that because she feels like if I put up Cliff, Cliff is going to get voted out. And I want Jackson to go this week. So she says, let's focus on Jackson. We can get rid of Cliff next week. And Nick is playing along here. He's like, oh yeah, Cliff sucks. He talks too much. But it does seem like Nick is actually loyal to Cliff at this point. So yeah, he's playing along here. So then they're going over the votes, if it is still Jack versus Jackson on Thursday. And Christy and Tommy, they feel like the votes are there to keep Jack. They're thinking it could even be like unanimous. They're saying that Kat's gonna vote Jackson out. Christy says it would be an embarrassment if Kat kept Jackson after her eviction speech and after everything that's happened. They think that Holly's gonna vote Jackson out to try and save face with everybody else. We'll see. Okay, so then Jess, Kat, and Holly are up in the HOH room, and Jess says, Jack and Jackson are both sucky on a game level right now. Yup. So obviously, these three all want Jackson to stay. That is their plan. And Jess says she would even be cool with Jackson winning the power veto and taking himself down. A side note, if Jackson were to win the veto, that's pretty much a guarantee that Christy would not use her power because she's not going to trust Jackson to pick the replacement nominee. Jackson could just turn around and put Christy up, which would be really funny, but she's not going to let that happen. So Jess would be cool with that, and she would not be cool with Jack winning the power veto because he is definitely her target this week. So Jess is saying, Christy promised me that she wouldn't use her power this week. Yeah, until she changes her mind. And Kat's kind of worried that Jack could convince her to use it. That's definitely a possibility. So then Jess is talking about how Jack and Jackson are just so different. She says there's two very different types of alpha males in this house. Brace yourselves here. She says one is aggressive, but still very much a gentleman and puts women to a higher standard. But has aggression. No. But his aggression gets the best of him at times, and he's working through personal shit, but is ultimately really trying to be and is a good person. So she's talking about Jackson here. Okay, and then her description for Jack. And then you have one who is like very alpha, condescending mansplainer, thinks that his decisions are the smartest and the best for absolutely everyone without even giving them a say, but is so gung-ho about being spiritual, but is only that way to specific people and not to everyone. Oh, Jess. I think they're both condescending douche canoes. Yeah, I don't think they're as different as she thinks they are. So anyway, Jess says this might be her only HOH all season. She is not going to play it safe. Woo! More of that! Yes, please. Thank you. Can you imagine if Jess had been the camp director week 1? This game would have been so different. Oh my God. All right, let's go back to Christy and Tommy. They have no idea at this point that Jack is actually the target and that the votes are there to get rid of him, and it is hilarious. So they're telling Jack, you're gonna be fine. They also feel like they successfully broke up the trio of Kat, Holly, and Jackson yesterday without even having to vote out Kat. They're like, whoa, they're not spending as much time together. They're not gonna wanna work together anymore. No, nice try. All right, speaking of Jackson, what's he up to? He has been isolating himself up in the have-not room. See, I don't feel bad though. I'm sorry, I just don't. He's doing this to himself, and he had no problem treating other people like crap before, right? So Holly goes up to visit him, and she's like, honestly, I kind of hope that nominations are going to stay the same, because she knows that the votes are there for Jackson to say. And Jackson's like, yeah, I kind of do too, because he already has his speech planned out for Thursday night, and he says it's gonna blow shit up. Guys. So let me give you a paraphrased version of this speech. He's gonna say, I shook hands with Jack on day 1. I said I'd stay true to him, and I have. Until now. 3 weeks into this game, Jack and Cysts started to become close. Intimately close. And Jack was struggling with a personal conundrum. There were times when Cysts felt like Jack would pick Christy over her, and I have also felt that way. And he says on week 3, Jack disclosed to me that he was really struggling with his ex, and that's because his ex is Christy. So he's gonna say, Jack and Christy were long distance exes for 2.5 years. They were on decent terms, and now they're in the house together, and it's been really hard for them to keep it under wraps. Jack is having a hard time because he's, you know, trying something with somebody new, and Christy is having a hard time watching it. And then I'll tell everyone, do what you want with that information. I'd rather leave with a duffel bag full of clothes than a duffel bag full of secrets. Oh my god. So then Holly's like, is that true? Are they exes? And Jackson says, nope, but it sounds pretty convincing, right? Oh my god. This would be hilarious. So Jackson says he'll do it. He will do it. He has no loyalty to somebody who burned him twice and someone who questions his character and talks behind his back. I am by no means rooting for Jackson. I would love to see him walk out the door right after Jack, but this speech would be hilarious. I think it'd be really fun. So anyway, Holly's like, I don't know if you should make that speech because you've got the votes to stay right now, so you might not want to mess around with that. But we'll see. Jackson is still saying he wants to do it. So the rest of the night, there were many exhausting and exhaustive retells of the vote flip that didn't happen. People were trying to figure out if Kat and Holly know each other or not. They are denying. Christy and Tommy are not buying. And Jackson revealed his plan moving forward. He wants to take out Christy if he gets the chance. Duh. And he also tells Holly that if he wins the veto this week, he will leave the nominations the same because he wants to be next to Jack when Jack is evicted. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Can you imagine if he actually won the veto, didn't use it, and then, oh my god. Okay, so Jack, his plan for this week, he wants to see if he can get Christy to use her power so that they can take out Cliff. But he's not sure if she's gonna do it. Something tells me no. So then, in other news, Nicole and Kat did some major bonding while they were goofing around in the HOH room. Aw, that's fun. I think part of the reason that the outsiders didn't totally, like, form their alliance together, I think it really helps to have somebody in your group be the HOH, and then you have that room to really, like, spend time together, and you don't have to worry about somebody walking in every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel like it's on a new level now. But anyway, today they had the POV player draw. Nicole is hosting, and the players are Jess, Jack, and Jackson, and then the 3 extras, Tommy, Nick, and Kat. And it sounds like there were 2 house guest choices in the mix here. So Jess finally chose right. This time, she chose Kat to play. And Jack got the other house guest choice, and he picked Tommy. So, let's look at this. It seems like everyone who's playing would keep the nominations the same, except for Jack, and I guess probably Tommy. I feel like Tommy would want to save Jack. And you may be wondering, what about Nick? Would he try and be with the 6 still? I don't think so. It seems like Nick is siding with the outsiders this week. He's in on the plan. He knows that Jack is the target, and he's been keeping that under wraps so far. He has not spilled that. So it seems like Nick could be turning a corner, I hope. I don't think he would change the nominations. It's just like, would Jackson really leave himself up there? I think that would be hilarious. So we'll come back to the POV. But Jess, Cliff, and Nicole were chatting, and they're a little bit worried that Tommy might win this veto and save Jack. And then to make it even worse, what if Christy gives Tommy her power and he gets to pick the replacement nominee? They are fearing Cliff would be the one to go up because they know that Jack and Tommy do not like Cliff. Holly told them. I think they knew before anyway. But they're like, yeah, what if they put Cliff up and then the 6 get back together? That would suck for the outsiders and for all of us watching. So Jess says that it would be stupid for Christy to use her power because she promised that she wouldn't, and if she does, she's gonna become the biggest target. Just because Christy says she's not gonna do something doesn't mean that she's not gonna do it. Okay, so then Christy, Jack, and Cysts were chatting, and Christy's got a new plan. She's got 1 week left on this power, so she says if Jack wins the power of veto, Christy can go and talk to Jess, and she's gonna be like, Jess, I know that you don't want your nominations to change, but obviously they are, you know, if one of the nominees wins. So she'll be like, you don't have to pick the replacement nominee. I can use my power. It'll be no more blood on your hands. Jack can pick the replacement nominee for you. I don't think she'd like that. And Christy is saying she only wants to do this if Cliff is not the replacement. She does not want Cliff going up because that means that Cliff will be leaving, and she wants Jackson to go this week. She says, he's coming after me. He's gotta go. We can take care of Cliff next week. So Christy says she would want Nicole to go up as a pawn because that would mean that Jackson would go. So Jack is like, yeah, that's cool, but if you use the power and we put up Cliff and we get rid of Cliff, Jackson would be indebted to you. No freaking way. Are you kidding me? Have you met Jackson before? You really think he's gonna work with you guys again? So Christy says, no, I'm not doing that. Jackson has got to go. So then it was time for the Power Veto competition. So the feeds go down for a few hours, and when they come back, the players are wearing these shirts that say Galaxy Comp on them. And guess what? It was the punishments and prizes one. Jess won the Power Veto. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So yeah, she's gonna get to keep her nominations the same. But not only did Jess win the Power Veto, Kat won a trip to Hawaii, Nick won $5,000, Tommy and Jack both got punishments. I don't know what they are yet. We'll talk about them tomorrow. And I'm not sure what Jackson got. I haven't heard anybody say it yet. Wouldn't that be ridiculous if he got like a slot pass? I would not be surprised. But yeah, I don't know what Jackson got yet. So after the competition, the 4, meaning like Tommy, Cysts, Christy, and Jack, they're so excited because they think that Jack is staying, and this worked out perfectly because now Jess exposed herself as a comp beast. They got punishments, so they feel like they're making up for what they did with almost flipping the vote, and people will be like, oh, it's okay now. And they still feel like they have the votes to get rid of Jackson, and Jess doesn't have to worry about changing her nominations. Oh my god. So they're just like, oh, this is the best, this is amazing, yay, Jack is staying. But as of right now, Jack is going. It's hilarious. So anyway, the Power Veto ceremony should be on Monday, and that means that Christy's power is useless because if she uses it, Jess is the veto holder. She's also the HOH, so she's gonna be picking the replacement nominee anyway. It'd be kind of funny if Christy just used it to use it for fun. I don't know. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We are 5 days away until eviction. I mean, you never know. Anything could happen. It's not like set in stone that Jack is going, but it looks like it right now. So let me know what you guys think, and until tomorrow, much love.